the UAE's first ever female-founded football club.
If I wanted to play sport, it was only associated with males. So for me to see what the pathway that Lisa had, I was like, we need something like that here.
I used to sit on football pitches waiting for girls to turn up, sit for a good hour, hoping, praying that just one girl would come.
Obviously, the sponsorship with Adidas was a big moment for both of us.
Now I've got 3 pairs and I've got Onyx charms.
So she was sitting on the side like, oh, please let me play her. So we came up with this idea that we would allow her to coach. She said, I'm ready, let's go. Kids, sit down, listen to me.
And I was just absolutely exhausted. I was like, I can't run anymore. It was that last sprint trying to get the ball and cross it in.
We'll be able to help build a school and then put on some sessions, donate our old kits, just give back to the community.
Welcome back to Full Time Females. I'm your host Amber, and today we're joined by the founders of the UAE's first ever female-founded football club, one of the region's fastest growing girls-only academies. It's the powerhouse duo behind Onyx FC. Welcome to the pod, Hind and Lisa.
Thank you.
Let's get into it. Onyx, tell me, how did it begin?
That is a great question. Actually stemmed just from an idea. So I'd obviously been working in the UAE and found that there was a gap in the market. And Hind and I actually worked together and we were just having a conversation about it. And I don't really know how it actually formulated into we have a girls' academy. But
to be honest, we were talking about how I grew up, how Lisa grew up, and the pathway that Lisa had was so amazing. Like, we didn't have that growing up here in the UAE. If I wanted to play sports or I wanted to play football, it was only associated with males. So for me to see what the pathway that Lisa had and the background that she comes from, I was like, we need something like that here.
Yeah, because obviously I know what it's like growing up in the UK, from the UK, but how was it in the UAE? Like, there was no grassroots?
To be honest, for me growing up, I'd come home from school. The only opportunity I'd have is to play with my male cousins and their friends. There were no academies that were for girls. And the rare occasion that 1 or 2 girls were really pushed to play football, they'd play with the boys. There was no female team. So to see the push in the last few years, that's really good.
And when did you find Onyx?
2021.
Okay, 2021. And then you joined a league straight away. Like, how was it actually building the club? Because from an idea to actually having a fully running, functioning club must have been difficult.
To be honest, it took us a lot of time. We both have full-time jobs. So after that, we'd spend months getting the right paperwork, finding funding, finding pitches, sorting teams. Like, just to spread the word out takes a lot of time. So it did take us about 6 or 7 months of us just talking about, is it going to work? Do we start it now? Do we wait? And then one day Lisa was like, no more waiting. We need to start. We need to do it.
Action plan.
And we did.
Oh my god.
And we did.
yeah, I used to sit on football pitches waiting for girls to turn up to sessions. So we'd put the word out, sit for a good hour, hoping, praying that just one girl would come, because if we had one girl turn up, we knew that we'd get more and more. So now we obviously have a lot of girls in the academy. We're competing. So it's really nice seeing them.
How was it going from the UK? I mean, we'll probably go back and forth in our conversation, but how was it coming from the UK, knowing what grassroots we maybe had, to come into the UAE and being like, hang on a minute, where is it?
I think it was really interesting. So I was fortunate. I worked at some other academies before I started Onyx, and then found the gap that lots of the academies have boys teams and girls teams as well, but there wasn't one solely for girls and females within the UAE. And that was something that I was really interested in. Obviously, I've been very fortunate with playing for different teams, having really good coaches for a really long time. And I think it's only fair to give back and allow girls here and women here to have the experience that I was very, very fortunate for coming from the UK.
What made you move to the UAE from the UK?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a teacher.
Okay.
And when I was younger, I actually went on tour to America with Watford, played football over there. and thought it was fantastic that I could travel to different countries to do things that I loved. So I did my teaching degree and said I would do one that will allow me to teach internationally.
Okay.
Passed my teaching at home and said, I'll just apply to a couple of countries. I applied to Dubai, had an interview, got the job, got on the plane. Here I am 9 years later.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so you always thought that you were going to do it, which is so nice. And so growing up, you played for different academies.
Mm-hmm.
How would you think that the football that's offered here now compared to what is in the UK?
I think there's lots of academies that provide girls with a great pathway to football, not only football in the UAE, but gives them the opportunity to play in other countries, maybe their home country, gives them a pathway for a scholarship to different teams. So it has progressed significantly from the time I've lived here.
Yeah, I think they're doing obviously a lot for the UAE women's national team now, which is really good. And I know from the inside that we're hoping to help with the grassroots up level to feed players through. You're both working in schools, teachers. Was sport always something you wanted to do, or was it just like you said, you came an idea and we were like, yeah, let's do it?
To be honest, I grew up in a household where sports was very important. And I think this is not the traditional growing up in the UAE, but I was fortunate that I shared the same passion as my parents, as my siblings. And working in a school pushed me to meet Lisa, and then we both shared the same passion. So I think passion is what drove Onyx to where we are right now.
Do you ever sit back and think, wow, what we're doing is unreal? You're the first ever founded female football club within the UAE. Or does it just not even feel like, oh, just doing it?
No, to be honest, there are moments where we look back and we are proud of how far we've come from when we started. Obviously, the sponsorship with Adidas was a big moment for both of us. Having so many young girls, like we start from the age of 4 up to women of mid-30s. So I think there are moments for us that we are proud of.
Yeah.
How do you manage all of that from, you've got little kids that might not have played football before to women that maybe have been in academies, now they've moved over here, to, parents that want their kids to have game time. How do you manage all of that? Like, what would you say is probably the biggest struggle or the easiest thing about it?
Struggle. I mean, I love doing all of those things. I love teaching the little kids. I love them running into the session saying, hi, I'm back. And to be honest, they're learning. They're at the start of their pathway into whatever they decide, whether they want to stay in football, whether they want to stay in sport, or whether they want to utilise the tools that we give them in playing a sport later on into whatever job that they want to do. I also enjoy teaching the ladies, or coaching the ladies, sorry, and giving them different tasks to do, just to seeing people develop. Like, everybody's at a different stage, but if you give them the right ideas and the right information, anyone can get better, anyone can play, and anyone can enjoy it.
What's your biggest fulfillment out of doing this?
Like I said, like seeing people improve.
Yeah.
Recently, actually, we had a great story about a girl that joined Onyx, and unfortunately, she had a couple of issues with her health, so she wasn't allowed to play. But her mum called us and was like, please, she just wants to come, but she cannot play, but can she please come and watch? So she was sat on the side like, oh, please let me play. I said, we can't, darling. Like, you have been told medically you're not allowed to play. So we came up with this idea that we would allow her to coach, but she had to write it on a piece of paper because I needed to understand what she was doing. So the next session, double side of paper, written in so much detail, more than I would do, to be honest. Yeah. She said, I'm ready, let's go. I said, you want to just deliver it? She said, yes, kids, sit down, listen to me. And she did an amazing session. The next day, she's back. The next day, after then she got cleared, she was able to play. Other girls said, I want to do this. Wait, it's my turn.
Yeah, that's so cute. I think what a lot of people don't understand, especially with young girls, getting them into sports, okay, they're learning a new skill and it's keeping them active, but it's also helping with their confidence because they're meeting new people, they're trying something new maybe for the first time. I know in the UK, girls in sports is, it's more advertised, I'd say. What's your thoughts on it here? Would you say it's improving? Would you say that, you know, there's still more to be done?
I think there's still more to be done, but over the last few years, we've seen a huge push in women in sports, whether it was football or other sports. But the government have pushed us, have empowered women to play multiple sports, and I think we came at the right time. Like, we have our youth team. We had one team, we used to lose 5-0, 7-0, but our girls were excited and they'd come, and then now we have 3 teams for the youth, and they don't lose every game. So for us, we're proud to see that huge improvement where they started and where we are now. We were lucky enough to be able to go on tour to Qatar with our little girls. So just to see that huge improvement, I think is very important to both of us.
Yeah, and to see the support from their families. Lots of mums attended the trip, cheering from the sidelines. Like, that's huge, not only just for us, but general, allowing the girls to travel with us on tour and play football in a foreign country is just amazing.
I think it's so nice when you do see, like, even for me, it's more like the dads when you see them cheering their little daughters on, and I'm like, oh, or you speak to them and they realise, like, oh wow, like they can actually play, and it's like, yeah, they're good. How do you manage the club being from 2 different backgrounds? Is there times where sometimes you might clash or be like, well, no, I'd do it this way, but fair enough?
You can answer
To be
that
honest, to be honest, I think it's a good thing that we come from 2 different backgrounds, because then I would say the clash is less.
Yeah.
To be honest, Lisa trusts me with the managerial things, with the cultural things. And when it comes to coaching, technicality, everything, I just leave to Lisa to decide. And I think that's what's
kept us together.
Yeah, well, I mean, how long has it been now? It's nearly 2026, nearly 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's going strong. With obviously running Onyx and me being part of Onyx with the women's team, I'd probably say, rather than it being like a club that you attend, we've got more of like that family feel. Like, how would you say that you guys sort of make sure it's that, and it's not like someone might come in and, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I would say for me, obviously living away from home and my family being back in the UK, the people that you surround yourself on a daily basis actually become your family. So playing sport, being part of a team, we see each other 3, sometimes 4 times a week, is a huge aspect of being part of a club that becomes part of a family, because these people generally are your family by the end of it.
Hind, anything? No?
To be honest, family is important, and sometimes we need to think of our players as human. Each one has, like, they come from different backgrounds, they have different difficulties, and I think it's just building that, are you okay, is more than enough sometimes.
And I think it's really important, and it's nice that it's not just about, obviously, we're joining the women's league this year, like 11 aside, but it's not just about that. I mean, I know for the academy girls, you putting on beach soccer. We have Waleed from the UAE national team. He comes, you know, we're organising hikes. Maybe we'll go on to talk about we want to go abroad and, you know, help other schools. And I think that all helps as well, because it's obviously not just about us, but it's about giving back. Tell me about your plans.
We have been talking, and I think we have taken our girls on international tour to play football, but I think what we want to try to teach them is always give back to the community. We are able to give back to the community, why not? So we have been looking into a trip maybe to Sri Lanka. I can't promise anything, but maybe to Sri Lanka, and we'll be able to help build a school and then put on some sessions, donate our old kits, just give back to the community.
Yeah, like provide girls and women from another country that maybe aren't as fortunate as us with the tools so they can put on sessions and teach their girls, so they will have some opportunities that maybe they didn't have before.
Yeah, that's so nice. If you're watching and you want to get in contact, now's the time. Email Onyx. I'll drop the email in the description. I think let's touch on, obviously, the sponsorship. Recently sponsored by Noon. That's an amazing one. And Adidas. How do sponsorships like that come about?
When we started, we were reaching out to every single company we can think of. And we were fortunate enough to be connected to Adidas and to have the sponsorship from them 3 years ago was a huge push for us. And for them to have a purple customized kit just made for our team made us really so proud of that.
With Noon, they actually reached out to us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the most recent one, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was this month, last month?
Last month.
Last month, yes.
Yeah, and then Friday Feels last year.
Okay, yeah.
They sell our Croc charms.
My boyfriend absolutely hates the fact that I have Crocs, and now I've got 3 pairs and I've got Onyx charms, so I'm loving
I
it.
actually never owned a pair of Crocs before we decided to make Croc charms. So I'm in the same boat as you.
Oh my God, I think it's like it's almost like my personality trait at the minute, just different coloured Crocs. I saw that you did the female field with Adidas as well, and the favelas.
Yes.
You took the girls. That was a fun
That was really
activation.
Yeah, so as part of our sponsorship launch of our kits, Adidas made a female pitch. And I think the words in Arabic like ball, movement, these things are feminine. So the campaign was to stress on the importance of women in sports. And then we also had the De Favela. We launched our limited edition Onyx top with them. It was in collaboration with a designer who was born and raised in the UAE. And it had the Emirati design on the bottom of that. So that was really nice.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. That was actually a really fun project to like be around. And the girls just love it. I know we did the Noon shoot and we got all the pictures of the girls. Like they just, you can tell they come and they just love being part of Onyx. With the youth development, where do you see that going? What's your aim, your goal?
Well, my personal aim would be to provide one of the girls with the chance to hopefully play for her national team, whether it's the UAE's national team or a national team that girl is from. I think that would be an amazing achievement for us.
Do you see future plans of maybe they play in the WSL anytime soon?
Well, you never know.
Never know. I think, to be honest, like we have girls from the age of 4. So I think if they're committed to training and they have that, I'm going to come to training twice a week until by the time they're 16 or 18. I do see them have a strong future in sports.
I think so, especially with some of the girls, because even the girls that come who maybe haven't kicked a football before, now they're playing, they're holding the ball, they can pass, and it's like, I think, like you said, seeing that improvement from the girls it's nice.
Yeah, it is. Giving them the building blocks that they need to be able to play a sport as a whole. It is just, I don't know, something that you'll never be able to like think about really, because it's amazing.
Okay, Hind, who, because correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like women's football maybe wasn't as shouted about when you were younger. I mean, it wasn't even in the UK when we were younger. Who would you say you looked up to in sport, in football?
Oh, that is a hard question, actually.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Male football players, like we were supporting Al Ahly as a family, so their players would be like, wow, but I didn't specifically have a woman as a role model in sports.
And how did you, I know you mentioned you've played, but like how did you get into like football? Literally just playing with
my cousins at home, and I think the passion from my parents. Both my parents love watching football. My father loves playing different sports, so I think being brought up in a background where sports is important and it's not an option. Like growing up, we can't just sit back. No, we have to be doing something. We have to get involved in sports. I think that was a big push for me.
Lisa, what about you? Your role model growing up, like in football, like female or male, or if you had
even
one?
for me, we didn't really have female role models, to be honest. I used to play with the boys when I was younger until Arsenal came into my school and I got taken to a trial, and it opened up my eyes to, wow, there's actually girls' football leagues. And my parents didn't know. So for me, I mean, my role model would be David Beckham. But maybe that's for other reasons, not just his football. But we didn't really have role models as women, to be honest.
If I think about like Faye White or Rachel Yankee, but even then, like I was still a little bit older. I wasn't really like, oh God, I don't know, from age 5 and up. And like you, so I had to play with the boys, and there wasn't really anyone that springs to mind. We'll go back to obviously the academy side, Lisa. How you mentioned you've touched on you played for Arsenal and Watford. How did them opportunities come about for you?
So the opportunity for Arsenal came when Arsenal came into the school. They did a session for anyone that wanted to play football. And I think his name was Jimmy Carter, actually. Spoke to my mum and said, she's not bad. Take her to a trial. My mum was like, yeah, all right, okay. But mum being mum, she's very supportive. In the car, went to this trial. I didn't really understand trials. I didn't understand selection. I didn't understand that you'd get a place for a year. All of that was very new to me. So anyways, they said, yes, you're in. Got this letter in the post. Mum was like, woo, you got it. I don't know what that means, but okay. So I used to turn up, play games. Then I only stayed 1 year. They released me. Then I understood that there were other teams in the same league. So I went to Watford and stayed at Watford for 5 years. And then they helped me with my coaching qualifications. And that's how I managed to get into coaching football.
Oh, nice. How did you find, what were the ages that you were at Watford?
From, I would say, under 12s to under 16s.
Okay. How did you find juggling that and schoolwork?
Actually, we were also allowed to play for a Sunday team as well. So I had football like 4 or 5 times a week. And I used to do swimming. I loved swimming. Schoolwork, I don't really know. I feel like as a kid, you just get on and do it. And if you love something that much, you'll make time. Obviously, my parents wouldn't let me go to football if I didn't do my schoolwork. Thankfully, I did my schoolwork quickly. So I was able to go to football. But also, I'm very lucky that my parents were very supportive because football wasn't close to where I lived. It was a good 30-minute drive. And then my Sunday football was like a 40-minute, 50-minute drive. I also have a sister. So trying to juggle all of that just because I loved and wanted to play football, and the coaches used to say she's good, she needs to be there. Like I owe a lot to them to be able to provide me with the opportunities that I was given.
Yeah. I feel like even me, like I look back and I think my parents sacrificed a lot, which I'm obviously really thankful for. Going back to like the youth side now, you're now coaching from ages 4 to 30 plus. Gabby? No, she's going to hate me. She's like 40, no? No, but what's your secret to keeping the sessions fun, especially for the youngsters? And maybe actually I'm going to pick your brains now because I need this. Because obviously the youngsters, their attention span is sometimes a lot less. How do you keep it fun, engaging?
I think I've learnt to read the room. When the girls start misbehaving, it's probably, I don't want to criticise my own sessions, but there might be a little bored. Therefore, the task needs to be changed and it needs to be altered so that they can stay engaged. Because they can all run around for an hour, that's not a problem. But whether they're enjoying it and they're being challenged will then depend upon their behaviour. Same for ladies, you know what we're like.
Oh, yeah, no, I stopped nattering and
5 minutes.
Lisa started shouting at me. And how do you switch from coach to player? Because you also play in the ladies team, right? What's that switch like for you? I mean, I know you coach us as well, so it's a bit...
Yeah, when I first did it, I found it really hard because I find when I play, I just cut all the noise. So people are telling me to do things and I might not necessarily hear because I'm focused on my game. Then having to be able to open up and look at what other people need. If, for example, substitutions need to be made, if people are out of position, it is very hard to juggle, to be honest. But I also love a challenge, so I find it okay.
Hind, any ideas on when you're going to play?
She's going to manage first.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. So you've just joined the 11-a-side league once again. Let's dive into that. Miss Hind?
I mean, Lisa's going to be on the pitch, so someone needs to step up, and we don't want to change our belief of it has to be a female. So Lisa was like, why not? Take a challenge, get the qualifications, and step up, help us out that way. So I think that is my next step, to be honest. I am looking into getting my license from the UAE FA over here.
You're being quite humble here. You already coach. You already coach the girls' academy.
Girls, yeah.
So it's just about getting that extra qualification.
Yeah.
Is it UEFA C
Yeah.
to
Yes,
coach the women?
for the women.
So it's not like you've never coached before. You are doing it already now. And I mean, I didn't realise it's very professional, the 11-a-side league. It's not like at home. You know, we have like an 11-a-side grassroots.
Yeah, grassroots is a little different.
Yeah, like here, I would say it's more like a women's pro league, really. You have to have backroom staff. I don't know if you want to go into that.
To be honest, I think what the UAE is pushing for is they want to go all out. And I think that would be good for teams like Onyx. Like, we are able to have that extra push. We need that extra push to be better. Regulations are a bit tighter now. It is closer to a professional more than a grassroots league.
I'd say that has pros and cons though, because pros is, you know, keeping it at a higher standard with all these regulations means that you are getting a certain standard of football. However, obviously, top fell. Obviously, being a grassroots and wanting to step into an 11-a-side league, it's very hard for funding and to maybe get to that point. What would your words of advice be to maybe a grassroots club wanting, you know, to build up to an 11-a-side league?
I think honestly, you just have to believe in the people that you're working with and the team that you have. And there will be struggles along the way, but if it's something that you truly want, then you just have to go with it, and you will be able to achieve it at some point.
To be honest, for us, it's the community push. It's not Lisa and I come and decide, oh, we're just going to do an 11-a-side for the women and that's it. No, it was a lot of discussions with our players, with our captains, with our other staff members who help us out. Like, is this something we want to go for? Or do we just want to play casually, 7-a-side? And then I think as a group, we decided that, all right, this year we're going all out, 11-a-side. And that's it for women.
So you started off in the EFA League, 7-a-side. What made you want to make that move?
To be honest, lots of the players have been asking for it.
Okay.
And new players that are joining, especially from the UK, we don't really play 7-a-side. So we all come from an 11-a-side background. And when I first moved here, there wasn't the option to play 11-a-side. It was just 7-a-side. So I think that's a really big thing for us, to move back up to 11-a-side. Hopefully it will attract more players, new people that have joined the country will hopefully join our team to play.
How does the 11-a-side league work over here? Because I think one thing being involved with the club that I've noticed is there's a lot that goes into it that you just don't even think about. Costs, you know, backroom staff. Tell me a bit about that. How do you go about 7-a-side to 11-a-side? It's a big jump.
Yeah, it is. Because obviously now we need to train on a bigger sized area.
Yeah.
So renting fields. Also for game days, we have to have a home pitch. So we have to rent a field for the home pitch. I don't know, this is your part.
I think it's moving from 7, just show up, play a game, and that's it. That was it. Now with 11s, I think it's more commitment. For us as admin staff, I think registering the players with all the documentation that we need to do, the ages, like, I think it's much stricter, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, logistically, how do you deal with all of that? Because, I mean, being in a women's team, it isn't easy trying to please everyone. Some people want to train on a Sunday evening. Some people want to train on a Thursday. People don't want to.
People don't want to. People want to play on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
People want to play Sunday morning.
How do you deal with that? I mean, obviously, ultimately, you guys have the decision, but you try and appease as many people as you can.
To be honest, what we do with the women is we get as much feedback and as much information we can from what each player prefers, and then we try as much as we can to make it work for everyone, like whether it was training days or game days. I think
Or times of the session or location of the session.
it's just getting everyone's voice and then making a decision.
It must cost a lot to run a club.
It does, to be honest. A big thing for us is the pitch rental. And then, like now, we were literally just talking about, okay, 11 aside, women prefer grass pitches. That's not, like, there are a lot of AstroTurf pitches, but to find an 11 aside grass pitch is not easy.
Not even just to find a grass pitch, to find a good grass pitch is very difficult. The weather here to maintain a grass pitch is very, very difficult.
And the cost is really, really high.
Yeah.
For us, to be honest. So we're trying our best.
Yeah, like as a club, would you be looking to find, I know you've just obviously got Noon, you have Adidas, would you be looking to find another sponsor?
We are, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we were looking into maybe collaborating with schools that we can use their facility, help their teams, and take it that way, not a financial support as in financial sponsor, but we can give, we can get, we can give, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that with schools.
I think that's a really important point to touch on, because you guys as a club, it isn't, I'm not going to say it's a non-for-profit, but like you guys, you're not like take. It is about giving back, like going into the schools, teaching the girls, making sure you're getting girls into sports. You're currently in a couple of the schools over here. What's your plan moving forward with the youth development and maybe the school side of things?
Ideally, to get into more schools, give girls more of an opportunity to play, then hopefully provide them with a pathway to play into the team. And then when they get older, that pathway then increases. They can try to join the ladies' team.
I mean, it would be good to see younger players. I mean, we have good players, but we still have that gap from, I'd
like
say 13 to 16 that we don't really have quite yet. And I think obviously once, because the Women's League, we can play from 16. I know they'd be young and have to toughen them up a little bit. But I remember when I was younger, the jump from 16s to women's, I was like...
Yeah, it was massive.
And it was very different in the UK, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know, when I was playing for the Sunday League team, they would be, you know, on the sideline, rocking up 2 minutes before.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like, Dad, you can't leave me here. What are you doing? No, but it did toughen me up for sure. It was definitely a big jump.
Even if you're inside an academy, like I went from under 16s to ladies training, and that was a huge change. Just about the technical ability, even fitness. We would do fitness drills, and girls, like ladies, would be sick because they're pushing their body so much.
That was me last night. Yeah, that's you last night.
But we didn't even do fitness.
No, it wasn't the fitness. I think it was because, well, bit of a
Here we go.
sad But yeah, no, I made myself like on ChatGPT a little 2-week plan that's catered to my position, because I want to, you know, get stronger and whatever. And I think because I'm going to the gym on my off training days and then doing so much running last night, and I was just absolutely exhausted. I was like, I can't run anymore. It was that last sprint trying to get the ball and cross it in, and the cross hit the crossbar. I was like, what?
But that was
doing?
a great cross.
Yeah.
And the corner that I scored from.
Yeah, actually, the corner
was a
was
good
so
one.
good. Like, why wouldn't you be captain? Actually,
I want to give that to somebody else, to give them some more tools to develop, and they can take into their job or take into their future.
It's just about empowering the women that we have within the academy. Like when we won the EFA the last time, our girls came and watched our ladies team,
that was really.
and our
cute.
captain was there, and I think that was such a nice moment to see. So it's just empowering as many ladies as we can.
What would be your plan? I mean, the goal maybe in like, I don't know, a year or two.
To be honest, it's to build that gap. Like we have 3 teams, under 9, under 11, under 13. It's just to build that gap of having 16 to 18. I think that is missing here in the UAE. Like that's usually at that age, that's when women in sports goes down. The number of women playing sports significantly decreases. And what we want to do is try to close that gap as much as we can. So this is our aim for the next few years, to be honest.
And I don't know, maybe for people watching, there's quite a few academies out here. How would you say Onyx differentiates from them academies?
I think having women coach women is completely different than men coaching women. I think you can speak more of that. You experienced that, but I think having that's number one. Having the family feel from our youth up to our women's team. I think these two things are very important here.
Yeah, I think giving the girls a role model to see that it is possible and they can achieve the things that the ladies are doing at this current moment. So bringing them to games, seeing that you can play, that you can do all of these things, that you can still win even as a child, even as an adult. It just gives them an opportunity to see what's out there.
Yeah, and I think as well, being a woman, you're naturally more nurturing. So I think sometimes I had quite harsh coaches as a kid, which isn't always bad. It's shaped who I am. It's fine. But sometimes you do have to be a bit softer. And I do think culturally it is different to back at home. You know, if I was talking, my coach would be like 5 laps. I can't do that to the kids here. Yeah. They wouldn't come back. They'd be like, huh? So yeah, you do obviously have to tweak it a little bit. How would you say you adjusted when you first came, or when you first started coaching here, or did it just come naturally to you? It's just,
I think I've coached since I was 16. Yeah. I've been doing it for a really long time. I've coached in many different facilities, areas, kids. So I wasn't shocked. There wasn't anything new that I had to do when I moved here.
But I think what helps, Lisa, is working in a school here helps understand the culture, I think. The school we both work at has like 80% Emirati girls. So I think just understanding the culture and, okay, this is appropriate, this is not, I think that has helped a lot.
Why would, for someone from the outside, maybe they're watching the UK, maybe they've never even been to the UAE, why would you say like it is so different, like girls in sport compared to the grassroots at home? Do you think maybe it's the exposure to sports, or what would your
I think it's the exposure to sports. I think it's the acceptance of girls in sport, girls in the media being out there. I think these are the little things that we need to really be careful with. And once we have that, which I think now we have, like our youth teams are filled with Emirati girls. So you do see a change.
Yeah, there's a huge change since I've been here, especially with a lot of Emirati girls playing.
I would say it's, even since I've been here, I've been here 2019, and I remember it must have been just after COVID, and I tried going to a facility to play football with the men that I'd like met while I was out, and they were like, oh, come and play football with us. And it was before I'd even found a team. But the security man wouldn't let me in because I wasn't allowed to play football with men. And I was like, no, I'm playing football. I just got hidden in the back of the car with my cap. I was like, let me in. Which I get, like, they have rules and whatever. Obviously, it's not like that now, but it's still a little bit behind. But we're getting there, which is all good signs. What's the next steps for developing, obviously, maybe more female coaches or more development within your club?
Yeah, ideally to get more girls on board, get more schools on board, and that will provide us with like a deeper pool of players to give more girls an opportunity. I think when that happens, obviously, then we'll need some more female coaches.
And that comes, to be honest, now we've expanded, and what we do is we trust our players. So we push our players to coach our younger kids, and I think the more ladies we'll have on board, the more kids we'll have on board. We'll be able to push them, like, other than us two, we have another 2 or 3 coaches that are Onyx players, to be honest. So
yeah, I mean, like, let's go with maybe like giving an insight into, obviously, when we're building the 11-a-side team. I think it's so interesting. Obviously, you guys have decided, right, okay, let's go into 11-a-side. We're sat having talks. How are we going to do this? Sometimes the girls we can't even get 7 players, and we're like, oh, like 11-a-side, we need at least, I don't know, 18 minimum. And now, how many players would you say we have?
Now we need to be
lot.
very careful with who we'll register, to be honest, because that's a little bit of insight.
Yeah.
Because we can only register 22 per team. And now I think as of yesterday or a few days ago, we had 18 full on board with us. So now we only have four extra spaces in our team.
Yeah, which is so good. And I also think it's important for, I mean, big advocate for women in sport anyway, but it's so important. Girls that maybe moved over to the UAE, they don't maybe know anyone. It's such a social thing. I know that's one thing that you guys are pushing at the minute is socially. Like, even if you've never played before, just come meet some of the girls. We do stuff outside of football that isn't football. We're trying to organise stuff. What is it, like once a month to try and get people involved?
Once a month.
Which I think is a good social aspect. And the kids.
Yeah, we actually did a session this morning.
Oh, nice.
We said siblings can attend. So we had some girls running around for 2 hours.
It's good to obviously see, it's mainly the little ones, when you see them running around, it's just really, really cute. I'm going to ask a question. I don't know, it's not an easy one, but if you could maybe change, because being school teachers, if you could maybe change one thing in the school system, sports-wise or girls in sports, what one thing did you think maybe they can improve on? Or
Here.
Yeah.
I think for us, especially at my school, you have to pay to enter the school leagues.
Okay.
And if you're a small school, it's really hard to find the budget and the funding to hit the amount of money that you need to meet the requirement for the teams. So say, for example, we only have maybe 2 teams. We would have to pay a lot of money to register the minimum amount. And it's too much for smaller schools, which is then preventing our girls from having the opportunity to play in the school leagues.
Yeah, that is a shame, because especially when you just want to get them into sport and then it comes down to, obviously, again, money and funding. I do think, again, I think there is still like a grassroots bridge that needs to be built, but I think that's only going to happen as we get more girls into sport, which again will come from exposure and all of that sort of stuff. Let's take it back to 2021.
Okay.
You're just about to launch Onyx. If you could change one thing about that time, what would it be?
I think understanding that it's a lot of hard work, understanding that people aren't just going to, woohoo, click Onyx, yay, I want to join, I want to sign up my daughter. Like creating a base of people that truly believe and trust and support you allows you to grow and become what we've been able to. But I thought that would happen a lot quicker. Thought it was like magic, to be honest. But it has taken a long time to be able to do that.
What piece of advice would you give yourself, Hind? Hind in 2021? Yeah.
Make connections before we even started.
Yeah. And maybe to, you know, a young Emirati girl, Hind, that's, you know, might be watching this or sees the football, you know, UAE played last night. What advice would you give to them? They want to get into sport, they want to play football.
I think they should come and try it, to be honest. And once they try it, there's a huge push for it. We have women's national team at the moment, and we're working with the FA to see if we can push our girls there. So I think if they love it, they can just come and try it.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it's amazing what you're doing for women in sport within the UAE and obviously grassroots girls feeding through. Thanks for sponsoring the podcast, by the way.
It's our pleasure.
Really appreciate it. If you're looking, obviously, to join women's sport, maybe you're a parent watching and you want to get your daughter into some sort of sport, want them to meet different kids, you know, socially, like bring them down, let them see what it's all about. If you want to follow Onyx FC, I'll drop them down below. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate it. Well, see you on the football pitch.